Hello, my name is Eryn Marburger, and today I want to talk to you about adoption and why the current process is not leading to a flourishing life. For a minute, I want everyone to take a minute and think about their childhood. Think about the experiences that you've had all throughout growing up. This could be a vacation that you went on, or maybe your favorite toy that you played with, or a song that your parents would sing to you every night before you went to bed. All of these opportunities that we've had while we were growing up have shaped us into the people that we are today. Now think about this. Think about the 153 million orphans that are living worldwide. What kind of opportunities do they have now that are shaping them into the person that they will become? What are they dealing with now, and how is that going to affect them in the future? It may take place in a foreign land, or it may take place in your own backyard, but I believe that we are each created to change the world for someone, to serve someone, to love someone the way Christ first loved us, and to spread his light. This is the dream, and it is possible. Katie Davis wrote this in her book titled Kisses for Katie after she moved to Uganda and adopted these 13 little girls that you see in the picture. She is an amazing example of someone who took Christ's call seriously to care for adoption, to care for orphans in their distress, and we should strive to be more like her. Adoption is the act of taking a child of other parents legally and raising him or her as your own. As believers, we are all adopted by Jesus Christ, so we can resonate with this idea. If it weren't for Christ's sacrificial love for us, we wouldn't understand what it means to adopt. Because of his love, we have life, and we are no longer lost, and we can have hope, which is found in him. James 1:27 says, "Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you." The Bible can't make it any more clear. We are supposed to care for orphans and widows in their distress. We have a duty as Christians. Every day, 5,760 children become orphaned in the world. Every 15 seconds, another child in Africa is diagnosed with the HIV/AIDS virus. This is not how God intended, and this is not how he designed the world to be. Adoption is so important to me, mostly because of the 3 reasons that you see up on the screen. It has impacted my life and my family's life in a tremendous way. To the left is my 7-year-old brother, Derek. The first time I saw him through the big glass window in the hospital was the first time I actually understood the gospel and Christ's love for me. I never really fully understood Christ's sacrifice that he had for us until my parents decided to be obedient and to follow God's command to care about adoption and orphans. On the right, you see a little boy named Christian and a little girl named Juliana. They are Marburger kids number 7 and 8, and they are currently stuck in the Democratic Republic of Congo. As of today, my family has been in the process of trying to bring them back here for 458 days. Because of this horrible experience that we have had with trying to get them here, I have been inspired to care about them and so many other orphans in the world who really need our help. This process is really corrupt, and the need for change is urgent. To have a flourishing life, put simply, would be the life lived with God. We can flourish in so many aspects of our life, including our marriage, our workplace, or even our family. God helps us flourish in our family by giving us our family from birth. It is an automatic community that we are born into. But what do we do about those kids who don't have this family that they are born into? How are they expected to flourish, and how are they expected to succeed? No child should ever live their whole life in an orphanage. Man made orphanages for children, but God made the family for children. The problem that I see in America today is that most people are just unaware of the problem that we have here. There are so many available opportunities to adopt, and people think that you have to go all the way to Africa or to Haiti or to another developing country to make a difference, but that is not the case. If we cannot make a difference here, how are we expected to go to the ends of the earth to help people all over the world? Worldwide, I think one of the big problems is the corruption of government. A lot of times the government leaders have a lack of trust for Americans, and they don't want the kids in their countries to be brought into America because they don't believe that Americans are giving them good opportunities. They make it really difficult to get the exit letters, which is basically the document that says that you can bring the child into the United States. That is what my family is running into right now, and that's why my siblings are literally just stuck in Africa waiting for us to come pick them up. While these kids are stuck, they're living in horrible conditions. The essentials such as food, water, adequate shelter, health care, or adequate caretakers are not available to them. And so as they are waiting, they start to develop disease that could eventually lead to premature death. 40,000 children die daily in orphanages, and most of these deaths are from preventable causes. I think as the church, we really need to step up, and now is the time. The SERVE model can help us do that, mostly by engaging and developing others and reinventing continuously. If we want to engage and develop others, it is obvious that we can adopt. When you adopt, you will impact so many other lives besides just the one child that you're adopting. First of all, you're going to impact your own family. I know firsthand how much adoption has impacted my family, and specifically me, and I'm not even the one who was adopted. On top of that, we can also impact our local church. You can impact the community that the adopted child was originally from, because all these people will be able to see exactly what the church body is supposed to be doing. If they see you taking the Lord's commands seriously, then maybe they will be inspired to do the same. Now, God does not call everyone to adopt, so don't think that I'm here to tell you that you have to go and adopt a kid when you get married. What you can do is support and spread awareness, because everyone still has a duty. Through organizations such as Show Hope, Created for Care, or Compassion International, you can help inspire other people to adopt. Also, it's a good way to spread awareness, because most of the time people just don't know. All of these nonprofits are working towards a change, and so I think we need to join up with them in order to make an impact. Also, we need to reinvent continuously. What is happening now is not working. Again, this is my little sister Juliana. At just 4 years old, she weighs 28 pounds, and that is about the average of an 18-month-old here in America. She also suffers from worms, which is why her belly is kind of swollen, and she is malnourished, which is why her hair is discolored. On top of that, she will probably have a lot of psychological issues that will happen or come to the surface more when she comes back to be in our family. I don't think that this is how God intended it to be. She is not supposed to live like this. How is she expected to flourish in this orphanage, and how is she supposed to live a good life in this condition? A new approach that I think should be taken is to quit building orphanages. I don't want you to think that I'm saying that orphanages are bad, because without them, there would be a lot of homeless children today. But if we continue to build orphanages, we're continuing to contribute to the never-ending cycle of poverty, and these kids will just continue to be stuck in the orphanage with no way to get out. Johnny Carr, in his book Orphan Justice, said, "How my heart longs for the day when churches celebrate one more orphanage being closed because all of its children are placed in families, rather than reporting on one more orphanage being built on a short-term mission trip." I think that our problem today is that we do these things in order to make ourselves feel good instead of considering what's actually happening because of our actions. Proverbs 31, 8-10 says, "Speak out on behalf of the voiceless and for the rights of all who are vulnerable. Speak out in order to judge with righteousness and to defend the needy and the poor." I heard once of a story of a family from America who went over to Russia to pick up their children because they finally got the exit letter to bring their kids home. The parents were so excited to meet their child for the first time, and they couldn't wait to see the kids' reaction when they picked them up. Unfortunately, when they walked into the room where all the babies were being kept, they didn't hear anything. It was complete silence. They were expecting to hear laughter or words or even crying, but no one was making a noise. This was because these kids had spent so long crying out for help and experienced no one coming to their rescue that they just quit crying out at all. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen if we don't make a change and make it quickly. I don't want to miss the opportunity to reach out to these children, and I don't want them to become so hopeless that they quit crying out for our help. We have all been adopted into Jesus Christ's family, and it is by his grace alone that we have the chance to impact the kingdom for his name and eternal glory. Adoption is not only an act of obedience to God, but it is a radical opportunity to share the gospel and impact more than just orphans. The adoption crisis is so much more prevalent than people make it out to be today, and Christians should be educating themselves and living out their faith the way God intended it to be lived out in order to influence this change. While the orphan crisis and adoption process can be overwhelming and complex, the Bible makes it clear that we have a responsibility to care for orphans in their distress. By choosing to act boldly, we can influence the next generation towards a more flourishing life. Thank you.